Hello everybody and welcome back to The Word is Written. So in today's video we are going to cover or answer a question that was sent in by a viewer. So I was checking my email and I saw a question or the email from a viewer. So the viewer's name is Lisa and she asked a question, kind of on the video where we talked about the way God answers prayers. So her question was, what do you do when God doesn't answer your prayers the way you hoped he would? And that is a great question because a lot of times we think we think that we know what we want God to say. And usually we want him to say, well, we have answers that we want him to say. So I'll kind of go over the 4 ways that God answers prayer, and we're going to kind of focus on the last one. But the first one is a yes, I've been waiting for you to ask kind of way. So I use the analogy or the example of asking God to make you a millionaire. So if you said, God, make me a millionaire, his thing is, yes, I've been waiting for you to ask, here's your millions, go have fun. The second way is very similar, which is, yes, just not yet. So you might say, God, make me a millionaire, and he'll say, yes, just not yet. Maybe you have to wait a year, or 2, or 3, or 4, or 5, or however long, but in the end, you become a millionaire. Option 3 is, I guess, the yes answer, but it's yes, just not the way you think. Maybe your millions aren't for you to spend freely. Maybe it's you're giving to somewhere or to someone or to something, but all of it is going that way with enough for you to live comfortably, but you do have millions to your name. And then the 4th way, which is what we're going to focus on, is no, trust me. So I see a lot of posts from accounts I follow on social media, on my personal account, which is more so along the lines of things of people saying, God's timing is perfect. God's way is better than anything you could imagine. And it's true, because he's God. He's in control. He is the supreme being and the ultimate authority in our universe. And he knows what he's doing. We are humans, and as a human, we're going to make mistakes. We are going to want to do things that aren't really what we think. Kind of like the term, some things are better left to the imagination. And I'll use myself as an example. I have always liked ice skating, just normal public skate at ice rinks, whether alone with my friends or just, that's really the only way, alone or with friends or with family, just going and ice skating. And I am good at going forward. I am very terrible at going backwards, doing crossovers, tricks, stuff like that. But I always use hockey skates because I'm just better at those than figure skates. And on the winter retreat I went through with youth group, they had a very small ice rink. And we would play, broom ball and hockey kind of combined. We had the ball, people had the broom, some people had the hockey sticks. I just used a hockey stick, I just did. That's what I picked up. So, and I was having a lot of fun, and I was, again, good at going forward, because everyone else was only going forward. And some people kind of just skating for fun, which, that's a whole nother story, but we were only really going forward. So I've always wanted to play hockey, and I found some pickup hockey close by to me, and I spent about $400 on hockey gear, went to pick up hockey, and hated it. Maybe because all the people are old, retired hockey players, and I'm some young guy who's just here to have some fun and not expecting them to be good. So that is something that was definitely better left to the imagination, and it was not what I thought it would be. Where am I going with this? Because when God says, no, trust me, you're thinking of kind of what you want to think of. You're building up a fantasy. And what do you mean, building up a fantasy? I'll give another example. So I used to work at Chick-fil-A a long time ago. And when I worked at Chick-fil-A, when I started, you start on front counter. I don't know if that's just where I am, if that's everyone, but I started on front counter. Some people went outside to drive through, and of course there's back of house, and someone does window. So I was on front counter, and I'm taking orders, and I know it's a job, and it's not like, yay, I'm taking orders at Chick-fil-A! But it's a job, and it, pays the bills, and it's money. At the time, it was really just spending money, but you're making money because, you're doing a job. So I would always look at the people who were going outside to the drive-thru, or when they did it inside, looking at them taking orders in the drive-thru with the headset and stuff. And I'm thinking, if I did drive-thru, this would be so much better, because all I knew was front counter. So then I got moved to drive-thru, and I'm like, well, this sucks. If I was doing window, this would be so much better. Then after doing drive-thru aisle, I did window, and I'm like, well, this sucks. If I was doing, they called it bagging, where you're putting the orders in the bag and putting the condiments in. So I'm like, if I was doing bagging, it would be great. Bagging was the best, but it still sucked. And I'm like, if I was back on front counter, it would be great. Then I got put back on front counter, and it still sucked. Now, I wasn't asking to be moved to all these. They kind of have you do all of them. And I guess whatever you're the best at, they keep you at. And I'm assuming it was drive-thru because that's what they had me on the most, whether it was inside or outside. So we're kind of focusing on the fantasy of how we want it to be. So if you say, God, make me a millionaire, you're focusing on having millions to spend, being able to do lots of fun stuff, and just having money to throw away, basically. Having the cool car, the big house, cable television and all the streaming options, and being able to buy nice clothing and all that. And that's kind of what we think of when we think of being a millionaire. So we're going to kind of focus now on the way that God answers, which is no, trust me. So we all want, I guess, what we want. We all have wants. Like, yeah, I want a 1964 black Vet with red leather interior, not the convertible. And I can pray to God, saying, God, give me a 1964 black Vet with red leather interior, not the convertible. And he can be, he might say yes, but he may say no, trust me. Now, this is kind of an extreme of, again, going to a want. But as long as I have a car that gets from point A to point B, then that's really all I need. And as long as it gets me to and from where I need to go from the day to day, I'll be good. Like, I use my car to get to where I am now, this park. I'm going to use it later today to go to work. I used it earlier today because I was hungry, so I went to Chick-fil-A. A little bit of nostalgia there. So my car gets me where I need to go. And that's all I need from God. So to kind of answer the question in the way of praying for God to answer things, where think about the Lord's Prayer, which will used to be called the believer's prayer because we're the ones saying it. It says, thy will be done. And we're asking that God's will be done in our lives. And we often say it, but don't really mean it. And I saw a post that said, it's hard to hear God when you made up in your mind what you want him to say. And that really hit home. There are some jobs I've been praying to get, which are jobs in ministry, because I currently work in retail. And I was thinking, I want God to say, yep, here's the job, here's the apartment, here's everything you need. But he might be saying, no, trust me. And what it means is that he will put me where he wants me to be, which will be better than where I want to be. And again, it's hard to have peace with it. But if you pray to God asking him to have peace with it, he's most likely going to say yes. But again, he might say, no, trust me. So to give you the answer of kind of what do you do, or how do you deal it, how do you tolerate with it, there's really no way other than just kind of suck it up and deal with it. And I know that's kind of the answer you probably weren't hoping for. And if you ask others, you're going to get a range of different answers. But the thing is, we just need to be patient. And God is the ultimate authority in the universe. Think about people who have authority around you, whether it's your bosses at work, your teachers at school, your parents at home. When you ask your parents for something and they say yes, you're happy. You get to do it, you get to have it, you get to whatever. But if they say no, you might be bitter about it. And you're probably like, well, why can't I do that? Why can't I have that? Why can't I go there? Take sweets, for example. You ask your parents if you can have sweets, and they say no, you're probably upset because, well, you wanted the sweet. But the thing is, they know that too much sugar is bad for you, and that's why they kind of keep you away from it. They're doing what's best for you in your best interest. And I know I'm kind of rambling on here, so I'll kind of make some more points and then kind of, I guess, bring the video to a close. And another one is kind of your bosses at work. When they tell you to do something, you might be bitter about it because you don't want to do it. You want to do whatever you want. But they are in charge. And God is in charge of everything. Now, he's not a boss, he is a leader. The difference is a boss tells you to do something, a leader tells you how to do something. That'll be in a video coming up, so don't worry about that. But he leads you to where he wants you. And that's kind of going to the yes but not yet thing, where in time you will be where he wants you to be. So how do you deal with, or what do you do when God doesn't answer prayers the way you want it to? And let's just deal with it, I guess, and trust him. Obviously trust him. That's really what I guess I'm trying to say, is trust him. because God knows what he's doing. In fact, my favorite Bible verse I have on a card in my wallet, and it says, it is Isaiah 41:10, which is also not on my necklace, but it says Isaiah 41:10. And it says, "Fear thou not, for I am with thee. Be not dismayed, for I am thy God. I will strengthen thee. Yea, I will help thee." So, for I am with thee. He is with you. For I am thy God. He is reminding us that he is our God. And it's, "Yea, I will help thee. And I will strengthen thee." He will give us the strength to get through what we're going through when he's, I guess, not answering how we want him to. Kind of like the footprints in the sand story. I'll say that quick because I know I'm really rambling on in this video. But there's a man, and basically, as he's dying, he sees his life, and footprints in the sand are kind of next to it. So he sees things are happening, and he's like, everything is good now, I got married, I have a nice job, moving out, and he sees 2 sets of footprints. One are his, one are God's. Then he notices when everything's going wrong, like, my wife left me, I got evicted, I didn't have a job, I was, homeless. He notices 1 set of footprints, and he says, "God, during all the hard times, where did you go? Why are there 1 set of footprints?" And God is like, "Oh, those aren't your footprints, those are mine. I was carrying you through that." So, when God doesn't answer, I guess, to give us the goodness that we want in life, he says, "I'm going to carry you through it. I'm going to get you through it." And it's kind of, I keep on saying it's kind of like, and I'm just going to say, trust God. That's your answer. When he doesn't answer the way you want him to, just trust him and know that what he has for you is better. So, I know this is kind of a rocky video, and I do encourage you to also ask some other people, because I can only tell you so much. And again, if you ask multiple people, you're going to get a wide variety of answers. So just trust God, know that he's got something planned for you, he's going to put you where he wants you. So I hope this helps, and I'll be praying for you in all my other videos, or viewers, I mean. But God has got you, and God bless.